WDSU News at 6.
Clergy sex abuse crisis. Today, state police execute a search warrant for the Archdiocese of New Orleans.
And our cameras were there for it all, rolling at the time. WDSU investigative reporter Aubrey Killian broke the update today. So tell us what happened today, Aubrey.
Hey, Stella, so we've been following this story all day long. The church did not turn over documents today. One of the troopers we saw outside of the diocese is a lead investigator. He is linked to the case of accused child molester Lawrence Hecker.
And able to give us any comment?
WDSU investigates cameras rolling when Special Victims Unit investigators executed a search warrant for documents related to the investigation of the Archdiocese of New Orleans. One of the detectives who left today is on the Lawrence Hecker case. We tracked down the former 92-year-old priest last year. He was later arrested on rape and kidnapping charges. While he maintains his innocence, the bankrupt Archdiocese has kept records sealed. In Hecker's criminal file, which is now public, is a confession. Survivors are demanding transparency from the Archdiocese and Archbishop Gregory Amen on their handling of the clergy sex abuse. I tracked down diocese attorneys after the warrant was served. Can you tell us regarding the search warrant, are you all going to turn over documents?
No comment.
Can you tell us if you plan on releasing sealed records linked to sex abuse, as a lot of people want to know?
That's allowing, too, is for more survivors to come forward, for the truth to come out. This is what this is really all about.
And today, the diocese declined to go on camera with us. They did say that they are cooperating with law enforcement. Back to you.
Walk us through exactly what is in this warrant.
Hey, Gina, so we just got the warrant today, and it details sex abuse victims being brought to skinny dip inside of a pool and gifts given to abuse victims, signaling that they could be next.
The church needs to be held accountable, and the Archbishop needs to do what's right.
Alleged clergy survivors, like Richard Kuhn, responding to the details in this search warrant. Troopers recovered documents that back the notion that the diocese not only knew of sex abuse dating back decades and failed to report all the claims to law enforcement, but spent Archdiocese funding to support the accused.
Oh wow, it's just a huge relief because, you know, we've been trying to get these records released.
This search warrant comes after an investigation into former priest Lawrence Hecker. His alleged sex abuse dates back to the 1970s. He was arrested last year for rape and pleaded not guilty. LSP got a hold of records that were not released by the diocese to law enforcement. The warrant also states, after interviewing more people linked to clergy abuse, in some instances, gifts were given to abuse victims. The gift was a form of signaling to another priest that that person was a target for sex abuse. The warrant also states, another example of alleged illegal activity, multiple victims reported being brought to skinny dip to the New Orleans seminary and would be sexually abused.
Shock that this is finally being taken seriously by a government agency.
James Adams also alleges he is a survivor of clergy abuse.
I'm grateful that the state of Louisiana and local law enforcement is finally taking the action that sadly our own church leaders refuse to take.
So take a look. The Archdiocese of New Orleans says they've been openly discussing the topic of sex abuse for over 20 years. In keeping with this, they say, we are also committed to working with law enforcement. We should point out they have declined an interview with me. That is since June of last year. Sala, back to you.
Wow. The priest who molested my son, the day he walks out of prison, will be able to go to any Catholic church, will be able to receive the sacraments, will be able to do anything else. He will have more rights as a Catholic than I will.
His son, who was an altar boy, was 16 when Father Michael Guidry sexually assaulted him in 2015. Guidry pleaded guilty to molestation of a juvenile and in 2019 was given a 7-year prison sentence. WDSU Investigates obtained this deposition from 2021 when he testified for a civil case under oath while incarcerated. He admits to buying the teen alcohol.
Did you ask him what he wanted and then you bought it, or did you just buy him things for him to try?
I asked him what he wanted.
What did you drink at the time?
I drink scotch.
Guidry is questioned about the sexual assault at Guidry's home. Parts of the deposition are too graphic for TV.
While he still had his clothes on and you're rubbing his leg, how long, an estimate, how long did that go on?
A few minutes.
How long were you massaging him with his clothes off?
Oh, it must have been half an hour at least. No, not massaging, 15 minutes maybe.
Do you think at any time during that point, I should not be naked with a teenage boy?
No.
It never occurred to you that you should not be in a room with a naked teenage boy?
No, it never crossed my mind even.
Did you think it was appropriate to be rubbing a 16-year-old boy's leg at home alone?
No.
Okay. Why didn't you stop?
Well, I eventually did, but I was dying of curiosity. That's probably why. I should have stopped early, I'm sure.
3 years after the assault, Peyton's son came forward, but Guidry says he had let others know his secret well before then.
Did you feel like you had done anything that you should go to confession to confess?
I did, to my group.
You confessed it to your support group?
Yeah.
Who was in the support group when that happened?
I can't tell you that. We agreed to make everything that we share secret.
WDSU investigative reporter Aubrey Killian spoke with another alleged victim about this case finally coming to an end. Aubrey?
Hey, that's right. So my investigation started more than 2 years ago after Aaron Hebert reached out to me about Lawrence Hecker. Tonight, survivors say they finally have some closure.
It felt like the weight of the world taken off my shoulders.
That was Aaron Hebert's response when he found out Lawrence Hecker pleaded guilty Tuesday.
A monster that he was. And he took the hernia examination a little further with several of my closest friends. The man's a monster.
Hecker was arrested in September of last year. The case dragged on for months, and sealed records show Hecker admitted to the abuse decades ago and was a diagnosed pedophile.
The press pushed this. The press pressed something that it seemed like the system and institutions wanted to look away from and forget about. And that also feels criminal.
Rick Trahan is representing Hecker's victim in the criminal case. His client was flying into New Orleans to testify in the trial Tuesday before Hecker entered his surprise plea.
It was a choke-out rape, and that's about as bluntly as I can put it.
Trahan has fought to make sealed records in this case public, criticizing how the Archdiocese has handled the abuse.
They moved him like a toxic, dangerous chess piece from one parish to another with an endless supply of little boys. At one point, for God's sake, they put him in charge of the Boy Scouts.
I tracked Hecker down last June and pressed him about the sex abuse of children.
There's good and bad in everybody.
We also pressed Archbishop Gregory Amen for answers.
Do you believe Hecker should have been in jail?
I have Mass this evening.
Hecker's attorney, Bobby Hortzberg, says he does not plan on filing any appeals.
As a lifelong Catholic, I wish the Catholic Church would do a lot of things differently. But, you know, that's one man in charge of that.
And after decades of waiting, Hecker's victims finally feeling justice.
My reaction to the events that happened today was, it has finally come to an end.
Hecker is 93 years old. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. We should also point out the Archdiocese of New Orleans has just announced a plan to make sealed records linked to sex abuse public. Reporting live, I'm Aubrey Killian, WDSU Investigates.